All right, we're live. So, good evening. Today is Monday, November 19th, 2018. My name is Kim and Tina. I am your host of the Sweet Talk. Oh, hold on. I am echoing. Hold on. I have another tab open.
No problem.
All right, I'm back. Okay, I'm not echoing now. See, Bobby? It's
Hey, there
it's
you go.
no stress. All right, so let's start this again. So, good evening. My name is Kim Matina. I am the host of the Sweet Talk. Today is Monday, November 19th, 2018, and I am so happy to have on tonight's show Bobby Oommen. He is a computer science middle school teacher at the Latin School of Chicago. And Bobby wrote part of the curriculum for code.org for CS Discoveries. He wrote chapter one, you said?
Unit one, I was part of the team that wrote Unit one. Yep.
Unit one. So Bobby comes to us with a lot of expertise and knowledge about computer science. And since Computer Science Education Week will be coming up very soon, it starts December 3rd and it runs through December 9th. I thought it would be a great idea to have an educator voice his expertise and help other educators use computer science and computer science concepts in the classroom. So welcome, Bobby.
Thank you, Kim. Really honored to be a part of this.
Well, I'm so honored to have you on. I know we've been going back and forth, and thank you for making the time for me.
Totally.
So I met Bobby at a computer science workshop, maybe 2 years ago.
It was 2 summers ago. Yeah.
Yeah, and at Rutgers, it was a 2 day workshop, and he came from Chicago, and you taught us about a lot of different computer science tools. I have the spreadsheet still. I just don't remember what it was off the top of my head.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I was impressed by his workshop and his knowledge. So that's why I wanted him to be on the show today. So, Bobby, what are you planning on doing for Computer Science Education Week? What kind of insight and what kind of information can you give to teachers that are novice teachers or intimidated by computer science? How can we encourage them to use the tools in their class and align it with their subject?
Yeah. So um, I'm a I'm a big fan of CS Ed Week because it's kind of the one week in this school year where the administrators are like, all right, what do you want to talk about? You get some assembly time or you get some stage time or whatever it is. And then I also feel like teachers are a little bit more willing to, whether it's give up a class or incorporate something. Um, so to me, CS Ed Week is kind of a week to toot the horn of CS education. It's a chance to expose kids to just different aspects of computer science. And so really for the novice teacher, Kim, I'm all like, there's hundreds of free resources out there. Just use those. Like if you go to anything on code.org, CodeHS, I mean, you can link to so many. I mean, hopefully, if you're watching the show and you are not part of your Computer Science Teachers Association um, local chapter, you should just check out the CSTA website in general and find out some other resources, both locally and nationally available to you. So, again, for the novice teacher, find those resources and find a quick way to plug in. I remember my first year, I just kind of asked the math teacher, hey, can I take a class and run an hour long um, workshop? And they were totally fine with it. And I just used the resources available online. Um, so the the one thing that's happened though is that worked out great for a couple years. Like it was fine. The kids were exposed to CS. We had different opportunities to introduce them to different things. But one of the things that we felt like was happening is that we had kind of just like a scattershot like CS message, like, hey, there's this tutorial that you can do. And like, if you like artificial intelligence, you should check this out. And oh, you like robotics? Like, and so the first couple of years, it was great because the kids at my school just needed that exposure to all the variety of topics under the huge umbrella of computer science. And then 2 years ago, we just thought, you know what? What if we just like picked one topic and we just dove deep into that one topic? And we felt like it was really important to dive deep so that kids could be exposed at a deeper level and then hopefully like have one message the whole week. Like, and instead of CS Education Week being, oh, we did like 15 different things, we learned about this one idea. And so, yeah, we sat down as a CS department and we just said like, all right, what's some low hanging fruit for us? Because we're a pre-K to 12 school. We wanted to be able to roll out an idea that every kid across all those grade levels could access. And so the first year we decided to do cryptography, just writing secret messages. And when we sat down and thought through like, okay, so here's a topic, then what do we do next? And so we just kind of wrote down like, what are some of the essential questions? What should a kid be able to answer by the end of the week, whether they're in, first grade or whether they're in 12th grade? And so once we decided on the theme, we started trying to figure out what those essential questions were. Like, what is cryptography? Who uses cryptography? Why would you use cryptography? How do computers help with cryptography? And so just having like a few guiding questions that we said like everything we do this week should be able to answer that question or answer those questions in the minds of our students.
I like that. That is an excellent idea. So did you do that during Hour of Code week, or was that something that you did, at a different time?
No, we did that during to replace the Hour of Code, like the tutorials. I meant replacing the tutorials of Hour of Code, just saying, all right, whatever we were going to do that was going to be a tutorial, let's do something just focused on cryptography. And so it was really cool. Like, I'm part of the 8th grade team at my school, and the 8th grade team partners with the 1st grade team, and we try to find different opportunities to collaborate. And so me and the 1st grade teacher, like, we thought that Caesar cipher wheels were like a low enough idea that the 1st graders could understand it. I'll pull up a picture, or I'll put a link maybe in the notes of like just the different wheels we used. But basically, the 8th graders walked in with a scrambled text. The 1st graders had a little Caesar cipher wheel. Me and the 1st grade teacher made like this super corny video on how to use the wheel. And then the 8th graders and 1st graders worked together to unscramble their text. And then, yeah, whoever got it got a sticker.
So how long did it take for the kids to unscramble the text?
I mean, we did all of that within like a 50-minute block. Like,
really?
Yeah, 45 to 50 minutes. And like some kids got it really quick. And so we would give them another one. And so, yeah, that was just an example of like just the 8th and the 1st graders and what we did. Like, so we felt like theming it, coming up with those questions really opened the door to collaborate even across grades. Like, if you're friends with a 4th grade teacher and you're closer friends with the 4th grade teacher, you can be like, hey, let's do something. Let's around this idea. And so it helped people collaborate more. The other thing that we were able to do is we were able to do kind of like a school-wide thing where I was able to collaborate with the school librarian. And have you heard of like a Breakout.edu? They've got these breakout boxes. Yeah, so like we just said, all right, so we created again corny videos, and I'll link some of those corny videos where the kids had to decrypt a message using different ciphers that they learned over the week. And as soon as they decrypted it, it revealed the lock for the breakout box. And then they came into my room and they would unlock the box. So every day there was a new lock on the box, and every day there was a new thing to crack. And by the end of and I just kept track of who kind of cracked the code. And by the end of the week, they won a little prize. But man, the kids got so into that. Like,
Yeah, I agree. I did a computer science breakout with my kids last year because Breakout EDU has a few, like
this one's,
they have ones on their website that are available for free.
yeah.
And the one that I did was Caught in the Code.
Okay. Yeah.
And they did like the breakout. They liked, investigating, and they liked, searching and finding the combination. I
Yeah.
do agree. They were engaged.
Totally. And so like, um, yeah, it allowed us to have like kind of like those bigger kind of school wide things. And then the other thing too was like, oftentimes during CS Ed Week, we want to get like a guest speaker or someone to come in. And so you find somebody who's in the industry and they come in and talk about like, how did I get into computer science, which is great, like fantastic. Um, but the one thing this allowed us to do is get specific guest speakers that focus in on that area. So last year, our theme was artificial intelligence. So we just Jake, preschool to 12, learning about different aspects of artificial intelligence. And there's actually this amazing, Google has an amazing AI platform where they have different tools available for kids to use with artificial intelligence. Um, so,
And again, because you kind of broke up.
oh,
Google
sorry about
has
that.
Google
Yeah,
has what?
Google has a website. And I've got to pull that one up, but they have a bunch of tools on there developed for people, AI tools, artificial intelligence tools that people can use. And there's plenty of tools even on there that kids could use. So we used one called Google Draw or Draw with Google. Um, and if I can pull this one up real quick and just screenshot it to you, Google Quick Draw. This is one that we showed. Can I screen share this one?
Yeah.
Okay, let me pull this one up. Um, yeah, so Google Quick Draw was something that we found that worked like really well in the lower school, in the middle school, and the upper school. But basically, it introduces kids to this idea of machine learning and how does a machine like draw a rake in 20 seconds. Okay, so you got to like try to draw a rake.
I see line or knee or nose or leg or wishbone or broom. Oh, I know, it's rake.
And so were you able to hear that as well?
I see hockey puck. Oh, I know, it's shoe.
Yeah, I could hear it.
Yeah. So again, like I'm going to just mute this here, but by the end, by the end, uh, the kids are able to see like hundreds of pictures that were submitted, hundreds of thousands of pictures that were submitted all from all over the world. But my point in saying that is when we themed the week, it also allowed us to scope the tools that we used. So we could find guest speakers that spoke about AI last year. We could find specific tools for AI. Again, we did like a kind of a larger school-wide thing around AI where they had to code a magic sorting hat that would, like in Harry Potter, that could sort you based on your characteristics and things like that. And people have created all these things. So we just found them and we just made it available to our kids.
So you said people just created these things. I guess, so my question is, what tools or what resources did you use for this?
Yeah, so I'm going to also screen share this doc. when I had mentioned that we use we use just kind of a planning doc, and that helps us to plan out, all right, during the week of CS Ed week, what are some things that we can do? And so you can see kind of like what can we do in the lower school, in the middle school, in the upper school on Monday, okay? And this was last year's machine learning. And so we map out kind of what we want to do for each day. But then, Kim, here's kind of the answer to your question. Like, we basically, as a CS department, sit down and just search the web and say, like, throw any tool that you learn about or know about or find out about onto this doc. And oops. Yeah, and so here's like the tools that we used, some books. We threw some YouTube videos. We never got to use the TED Talks, but I'm like, man, one day I need to go back and just watch some of these TED Talks. But it's just a collaborative process of us finding these different tools, putting it together, and making it available to each other, and then filling out that schedule from there.
So you didn't create anything from scratch per se. You just kind of found resources, threw them together, and organized them for your staff so that your staff can implement them in an organized fashion.
Exactly. And like for the average teacher, like it's just too much to create your own stuff. I mean, the one thing that I guess we did create was what was the competition going to be school wide, but we just used a resource to help us in that competition.
Okay. And then so like I personally like the theme.
Yeah.
So like you did the crypto, how do you say that?
Cryptography.
I'm not really, I know it's, you know, cipher and data and securing data, but I don't really know that much about it. So I would be interested in learning that. And the theme does kind of keep everything in perspective because you're not really going off topic. So, you know, did you assign, I guess, different essential questions to each grade level and different activities to each grade level, or did you keep everything kind of the same for middle school grades versus the lower grades?
Yeah, we didn't really assign, you know, essential questions. We just kind of, once we threw out all the resources that we found, we just kind of sorted from there. And I mean, really at that point, you're looking at your own schedule and like, how much time will I have with the kids? What tool would work for the kids? And so that's kind of how we went. But a point that you somewhat brought up there, Kim, is like, I can't tell you how much I learned in just that 1 week. Like I learned so much just by like, you know, having to watch these videos on cryptography or watching how AI works. Like I just felt like my depth of knowledge, you know, just went up so much just because I had to focus on that.
Yeah, I think I like that only because you do dive deeper into that topic, because I find that you want to participate in the hour of code, and people are doing like the hour of code lessons like in code.org or whatnot, or even in CS First, they're doing the clubs, but they're not really diving deep.
Yeah.
And that's where kids need to go, because they need to think about higher order skills, higher order thinking, you know. Sure. And you're just scratching the surface, and you're really doing them a disjustice if you're not diving deep.
Yeah.
You know, because it's too overwhelming. Like you said, like we break down math and ELA and social studies. Well, how come we don't do that for computer science? You know?
Yeah.
So I do like the theme because it kind of keeps everything more centralized, and then you do dive deep into that topic. But that's a really great idea. And then so you worked with other teachers on your team to help organize the activities and the different, I guess, you know, like how you paired up your grades together and each grade had a different activity or whatnot. You didn't just code, you did other things with them, which I like.
Yeah. And the other thing too is like, It wasn't just, sometimes we can find times during that week where, if you're at a school or if someone's at a school where it's hard to do cross collaboration because there is the one central theme, it might be easier to just do something during an assembly. So like even last year, we did like a Beat Shazam game. Are you familiar with the show Beat Shazam? So like it basically, Shazam is that app that tells you what song you're listening to. And so just the idea that, when we were talking about artificial intelligence, like how does an app like learn how to, know what a song is? And so during an assembly, I just put together this Kahoot, like, of different music videos, and I had the kids come up there in teams, in like grade level teams, and we played a music video for like 30 seconds, and then they had to guess what song it was. And then I just was able to show a quick video at the end of like, how does artificial intelligence determine what a song is, or even like learn how to make a song? And so again, I wasn't just limited to working with my team. I was able to work with my team, which was great, but I was able to use kind of like whatever the school had to offer: assembly time, grade level time, cross grade level time, whatever my school could offer. I feel like whatever people's schools can offer, you can squeeze something in somewhere.
Yeah, I agree. It's just you have to get people on board,
Yeah.
and make them aware, like, hey, this is important just as much as math and ELA. So, we do have to make the time for it. I do feel like last year I was teaching computer science, so we dove in. I had the kids for like 4 weeks, so it was kind of shallow also.
Yeah.
It was more of an introduction, exposure,
Yeah.
time with the kids for the 4 weeks. But there's so much, like, you can dive deep just on different like logical thinking or logical statements, and they don't really understand that at middle school.
Yeah.
So you do some unplugged activities and you get them onto the computer, and then you try to make them aware of the different conditions and different statements that coincide with logical thinking.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I do find the theme. I'm going to try that this year. I mean, I'm at a new school. I'm going to try it. I'll let you know how it goes, because I do like that. If, like, at my school, we're only 7th and 8th grade. So if I come up with a theme, like if I use your theme that you suggested and just say, okay, 7th grade, we'll focus on these questions. 8th grade, we'll focus on these. And then maybe we can have a head-to-head, and see what comes up. What can be so bad?
Yeah. And really, Kim, like I said, I'm going to share the link for the doc that we have about cryptography. Like that topic is so easy. There's so many resources out there. Like, kids love solving puzzles. Like, that's the bottom line. And so if you say there's a secret message here, I mean,
yeah, you have to engage them. And I also think it's relevant. Obviously it's relevant, but especially in today's time, it's relevant with so many companies getting hacked and, different things like that. Like, they can make the connection to that because they're online all the time. So
I mean, just how many different connections you can make about how does our credit card, how does your credit card number stay secure when you're buying stuff on Amazon? Like, how is it that you're just able to have a secure transaction? What does it mean, like, at the bottom of a website where it says like 128 SSL encryption? Like, what does that mean? And you just show a quick video, like, and they can be like, okay, that makes sense. Like, even last year, this whole AI piece, like, the one thing that I didn't show last year that I just found out about like 2 months ago was, like, at the bottom when you sign in and it's like, are you a robot? And you've got the little CAPTCHA and it says like, pick what's a stop sign in these pictures. Like, I didn't know CAPTCHA stands for, it's like an acronym for like something like small scale artificial intelligence something. And I was like, man, I should have showed my kids last year. So again, it just keeps my radar aware of all these different topics in
Yeah.
CS.
And it's funny that you say that because, the CAPTCHA, everybody can relate to the CAPTCHA. So if you
Yeah.
just take that tiny little piece, that
Mhm.
CAPTCHA, I'm a robot, am I a robot,
Yeah.
and have a discussion about that, and I bet you that would be about a 25-minute, 30-minute discussion just on
Totally.
that, because all of these kids, all of these users encountered that somewhere along the line. So that's machine learning, or artificial intelligence, and that's how did that appear on the website? That's HTML code, or it's embedded, or things like that, Python code, whatever it is, it's just, it opens up a whole conversation. So just that little piece.
And I found the acronym completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart. That's CAPTCHA.
Wait, say that again.
It's a completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart.
There you go.
And so, like last year, we talked about Alan Turing and how he developed this test to, figure out whether you're working with a computer or a human, and that's what the CAPTCHA is. So
Yeah, that's AI for you, right?
yeah, and so like when the kids see things that they see every day in real life, and you say like, we learned about cryptography, do you know what this means at the bottom of your screen? We learned about artificial intelligence, you interact with it all the time. Like when they see those connections to their lives, they become engaged.
Yeah, definitely. And I was just thinking too, like if you took a screenshot of different AI or different machine learning pieces, and put them on like an activity board, right? And you mixed them all together with other screenshots of just general things. I bet you'd be surprised, and you'll see what the kids really think AI and machine learning really is,
Oh,
and
sure.
see if they really understand like that CAPTCHA is part of computer science, or
Yeah.
that part is part of computer science. Like, if you give them like a puzzle and you put it all together and let them just discuss it with their neighbors,
Oh, yeah.
and you find out what they really know, and then you can start the lesson that way also.
And it's also just a great plug to say, like, look at how much CS is integrated into your life already. I mean, this is why you need to study it, just like you need to study math and science, because you need to know the world around you. The world around you, you're interacting with this stuff all the time. And for you to be a well-versed citizen, somebody who can contribute and understand, you got to know this.
Yeah, I agree. And it's funny because if you just look at a device and see how it evolved over the past 30 years, and you take the TV, you
Mm-hmm.
take the box TV, what did it start off with? Black and white. We had rabbit antennas, right? And then we had color TV, and then the TVs became flat, and now they're smart TVs.
Yeah.
Like, over time, they evolved. What did they get? Enhanced technology, enhanced, interfaces, enhanced, user graphics, everything.
Yeah.
And that's all part of computer science, basically. Someone has to program all that so your TV can connect to the internet. And when I explained all that to the kids last year, they got it because they were able to relate to the TV.
Yeah.
And I showed them old pictures of what a TV used to be compared to now, so they understood it. You just have to connect it to their world.
Totally. Yep.
And honestly, like one thing and for me, I'm going to put it out there for teachers, like, don't be afraid to teach the computer science, whether you're using code.org or even CS First or even Khan Academy. There's a lot of different platforms that you can participate in. If you're not going to do a theme, you can certainly use one of these resources, but don't be afraid, because you really need to get your kids exposed to it. And if you don't know something, just be honest with them and just tell them you're learning as they are, and that you don't know all the answers, and it's okay, that you look it up and you'll find out the answer and you'll get back to them, or maybe they can find out the answer and let you know what the answer is, but it's all a learning curve, and everyone should learn together. No one should be intimidated or afraid. To not do it is a disservice. So if you
Totally.
try it and it doesn't work out, what's the worst that happens? You
Yeah.
move on to the next thing. That's my
That
opinion.
I am amening everything you're saying, Kim, because like I'm like, yeah, I mean, I totally agree. And I think all of us, every single teacher, but in particular CS teachers, can suffer from imposter syndrome. And this was something that I had to get over. That idea of like they're going to find me out. I don't know enough. I need to know more, or my kids know more than me. It's not going to look good. And you just get over imposter syndrome. Sometimes you fake it till you make it, and then but I don't know. To me, like it's fun in the classroom because it's kind of like it's a ride. It's a scary ride for sure, no doubt. It's scary.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's an adjustment.
Yeah.
It's an adjustment. And if you let it go, if you let some of the control go and you kind of let the kids learn and expose them, it's going to be a great learning environment.
Yeah.
So, just try it. And like I said, what's the worst thing that can happen? You just move on to the next thing. But yeah, it's definitely now. I could tell you right now, I have a niece and nephew that are 11 and 8. And I told them, okay, I gave them a Chromebook, one of my old Chromebooks. And I said, you got to do CS first. You should be doing CS first. They're homeschooled.
Okay.
So they got onto CS first. I got them on, and I went over to their house the other day, and it was the first time in like a couple weeks. They were so excited to show me the games that they created in Scratch.
That's awesome.
They were past CS first.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And they, like here, they taught themselves.
Yeah.
CS First is a good platform, and even code.org is a good platform to watch the videos and get your feet wet and to give you some exposure.
Yeah.
But if you want to dive deep, you're going to dive deep on your own and teach yourself. And my niece and my nephew, they got books. They opened the books. They were reading the books. They got the code in there, the block-based code in, and then they were exploring other people's projects and playing their games and exploring their code. So here, like, this is an 11 and an 8-year-old. So why are we not doing it in middle school and high school? So that's my point.
No,
like,
I hear you on that.
Exposure.
No.
Exposure is key.
Amen.
Amen. High five. All right. Anything else that you would like to say about your CS EDU week, or any other advice you can give?
Well, so this year we're doing Internet of Things. Just how are all these devices connected together, and what's the kind of data that everyone's collecting? And I'm way in over my head, Kim. I'm telling you that right now. Like I'm like, all right, I need to read some articles and figure stuff out. So we're super excited about that. Yeah, I'd love to figure out, some ways to share and give back to the computer science teachers kind of community, and just, again, just thankful for the chance to just even share here.
Well, I thank you for being on, but maybe we can have a follow-up show, maybe in the new year.
Yeah.
After
And
the
I can tell
holidays.
you what a train wreck it was, or whether it was good.
I'm sure it's not going to be a train wreck. But yeah, we can follow up, and then I can certainly share what I've done.
Yeah.
Maybe I might end up trying your theme idea. I have to talk to other teachers and administration at my school, but maybe we can follow up after the new year and just give some information out there to really see like what really happened for us, what we experienced, what were some of the things we could improve on, and some things that went well, and just share.
I'd love to hear it.
Okay, cool.
I'm down. is what I'm saying.
You know me, I'm going to be bugging you on Twitter.
For sure. And you know me, I'm terrible at replying, but eventually I will.
Well, that's okay. I know you by now.
Exactly.
So what I want to do, first, what I want to go over is just a couple things I want to mention before I let Bobby go is Sat Chat is a Twitter chat that happens every Saturday from 7:30 to 8:30. It's an hour. And this year I am going to be moderating on December 1st about Computer Science Education Week. So I will be posing 6 questions and hopefully we get a lot of responses. This Sat Chat is hosted by Evolvent Educators, Brad Curry, Scott Rocco, and Billy Krakauer. So those are the 3 that came up with Sat Chat. What I wanted to show you is, I'm going to share my screen. I created, oops, where is it? I must have got out of it. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, I created a newsletter in S'more, and I will share this link on my show notes as well. But I created this newsletter for the teachers at Galloway Township Middle School about Computer Science Education Week. And in here, I have some resources that you can use and try out for that week if you wanted to. Again, this is not limited to these resources. These are just a few that that I came up with. So I will share this link in the show notes. And if you would like, you can check out my website at bit.ly/the Sweet Talk website. And you can go over to, hold on, here's my website. You can go over to the episodes tab and you can view the show notes and older YouTube, the links for the older YouTube, older shows are on here as well. So you have the link for the YouTube videos and the show notes on here. And it's a podcast on Podbean and Google Play Music. So I'm on those 2 platforms as well. So if you would like to be a guest on the show, just go over to the guest tab and just fill out this form for me, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. So I hope that this episode was helpful. Let me go back. All right. And I hope that you found this episode helpful before Computer Science Education Week. And, I really hope that that you take the leap or the risk and just try it, because you won't regret it. Believe me, you won't regret it. And I want to thank my friend Bobby for being on the show again today. And I am going to follow up with you. So
yeah, absolutely.
Be on the lookout.
Yes, we'll do.
All right. Until then, have a happy Thanksgiving. And till next time, good night.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye.